Okay, so online guys, do you have any question in today's class? Online guys,
No, sir. Thank you.
fine.
No, sir.
So fine then. So let's continue. So yesterday that just we have started the first unit. So that we have discussed about very basic commands, small commands we have discussed. What was the last command? We have discussed shut down the system and reboot the system. That commands we have seen. So the same continuation of the first unit we are going to continue now. So in the last concept that we have discussed about the types of desktop, we have the two types of desktop. What are all that? Gnome and KD, the two types of desktop we have. So the next one, we have the two types of login we have. So one is the GUI login, and the second one, it is a TUI login. So GUI login already you know. So from the day one of the class that already you're seeing, whenever you log into the Linux system that you're getting the graphical login window you're getting, that is a graphical login. After logging into the system, this is the window it's going to launch for you. This is the GUI login. And in the yesterday's class, I have showed you where and all what are the options we have in the graphical. But the next one, the one which we have, it is a TUI. What is TUI? The full form, it is text user interface. TUI stands for the text user interface, where you're going to put the command and access the operating system. So for that we call it a TUI. Remember, so in yesterday's class also, I told you, you never have this graphical desktop on any of the production server. This is only for the classroom setup. So, and in the further classes, whatever we are going to discuss the concept, everything from the command prompt. Okay. So TUI, it stands for text user interface. Now here that what we are doing it in the graphical desktop, that I'm just opening the terminal and I'm running the command. But if you wanted to go to the completely the TUI, that what you have to do, the shortcut you have to use that control, it's not the command, I'm just writing the shortcut here, control plus alt plus, and you have to use that F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6 that you have to use it. The shortcut you have to use that control alt F1, control alt F2, control alt F3, like this, the functional key that you have to use it. So by default that you have the 6 terminals that you have. Okay, so if you wanted to switch to the control alt F1, if you wanted to get into the completely to the TUI, control alt F1. If I use the control alt F1, you don't see any difference because in the F1, my graphical desktop is setting. If you use the control alt F2, you will get to the TUI login, you will get it. You will get the TUI login, you will get it. So this is the window it's going to launch for you. And here that you have to put any of the username. Already you have the admin account and one user also have created. You can put, if you want, you can log in with the root account and put the password. Remember, when you're typing the password, it does not show here. So just you have to type properly and enter. You will be able to get into that. So after that, if you, whatever the commands we have seen, no, the same commands, you can run it and you can access the operating system. So now, if you wanted to go back to the graphical again, control alt F1, you have to use it. Now I have come back to the graphical. So likewise, control alt F2, control alt F3, control alt F4, up to F6 that you can use it. By default, we have the 6 terminals we have. Okay, so then what is the maximum terminals can be configured? The maximum terminals can be configured. 64 terminals can be configured. Okay, so that is the maximum terminals can be configured. So now here that by default we have 6 and the maximum can be configured. 64 terminals can be configured. Okay, so now here that I just go back to the TUI, control alt F2. Okay, so now if I go for control alt F3, control alt F4, so F5, F6. So by default, we have 6, isn't? You can go for the 6. And here, if you want, you can log in with the same user. Or if you wanted to log in with a different user, you can log in with a different user. So at last that if I wanted to know, so it's all the terminals looks like same. 2, 3, 4, 5, it's all, it looks like same. Might be you may log in for the same user or you may log in with a different user. How do I know that at last that where am I? So for that you have to run the command that the TTY is the command you have to run. TTY full form, it is tele terminal type. TTY full form, it is tele terminal type. It says that where you are. I'm in the 6th terminal. I'm in the 5th terminal. If I go for the other terminal and if I run the TTY command, can you see that? I'm in the 2nd terminal now. So likewise that you can, with the help of TTY command, it says that where you are. Okay, so now I told you some time back, so the maximum 64 terminals can be configured. Suppose might be one of the server, already 64 terminals, it's configured. So in that case, that if you wanted to switch from one terminal to another terminal, that I have written the shortcut I have written here, that you can use that up to 6. But how many functional keys we have in the keyboard? Up to 12 we have is Z. Up to 12 you can use the shortcut. If you wanted to go to the 13, 14, 15, 16, where is do you have the functional key? We don't have the functional key. So for that, what you have to do, so you have to go for the command called chvt. See, now I'm here. So suppose for an example, I wanted to go to the 50th terminal. So for that command you have to run chvt space, and then you have to give the 50, you have to give it. Suppose in case if it's configure, you will get the login window. In my case, it's not configure. That is what it's blank. If it is configure, that you will get the login window you will get. Now, if you wanted to come back to the graphical, Control F1, you have to use it. Now I have come back to the graphical. So now here, that if you wanted to go to the terminal C, now it's not mandatory always that you have to use after F12, this chvt command. Within this also that you can run it. So how this within this can be run? So I just go for chvt. I just give 4. Okay, it's not, you can go for the shortcut that Control F4, you can use it. Otherwise, you have to use the chvt4 and enter. So now here, I'm just logging in one of the user here. And after logging in, if I run the command of the TTY and enter, so what it says, I'm in the 4th terminal. So this is how you can switch from one terminal to another terminal. And one more thing you have to remember, some of your system, the shortcut, the one which I have written here, it does not work. The highlighted one. Why? Because we are using the Linux operating system on the Oracle VirtualBox. Some system works. If it works, fine. If it's not going to work, no need to worry. We have the chvt command. So from here, that if you wanted to go to the TDY 2, 3, 4, 5, chvt space, and you have to give 2 here, enter. You will go to that, the terminal you will get in. And again, if I wanted to come back to the graphical, chvt space 1 and enter. Now I have come back to the graphical. So with the chvt command, you can play where the shortcut does not work. Okay, you understood that the TDY command and chvt command, chvt full form, it is change virtual terminal. With the help of that, you can switch from one terminal to another terminal. TDY full format is tele-terminal type. It shows that where you are. Okay, so the next one. So now here that I'm in one of the terminal here. So now here that multiple terminals, it's active now. You can go for Control F5 and Control Alt F4. So multiple terminals I have logged in. Now, I wanted to go away from the system. For an example, so you're using the Windows operating system. You wanted to go away from the system. You will keep it open and go away. Then what do? You will lock the system itself. So what is the shortcut? Use it in the Windows. Alt. So that you will use the shortcut to lock it. Okay. So if anyone try to access your system, make sure that guy must know that the password of the operating system. But here, if I wanted to go away from the system, what you have to do, you have to install one package. See, as of now, you cannot install it. And I'm just giving the package name here. YM install vlog. Vlog, it's a virtual log, star space -y and enter. See, in my system, I'm able to install it. So in my system, it's already installed, but I'm able to install it. But in your system, you cannot install. You have to wait for at least 1 week for this concept. Okay. So just I can. Okay, so I cannot come back for this concept. So that is what I'm just giving the information here. So vlog is the package you have to install. If you're going to see that end of this line, it says that already installed the latest version, nothing to do. In my system, already vlog is installed. Now, if I wanted to lock the system, just you have to run the command vlog and enter. It has got locked. If anyone comes to your system, make sure that guy must know the root password here. Okay, so this is how you can lock the system. See, this locking the system, which one? You can see from the top might be 7th or 8th line. So TDY command I have run. Where I'm in? TDY 4 it says, but it has got locked that only the TDY 4 terminal alone. So now if I go for the TDY 2 and as it is, I can access it. Okay, but if I wanted to lock, see now we have, assume I have the 64 terminals here. If I wanted to lock that the entire 64 terminal, by the time my break time will be over. Correct. So running in all the terminal vlog command. So what I have to do, so you have to run the command that the vlog space -a for all. So which means that the entire system is going to log, including your graphical desktop. Now enter. So now here that if I use Control Alt F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, no movement here. Okay, because A for all, no, the entire system is locked. If anyone wanted to log in, the guy must know the password of this. So this is how you have to lock it. And now I'm unlocking it after putting the correct password. Clear. So now I will come back to the graphical. So now here that I have showed you that. So in the two types of login, GUI login already yesterday I have showed you. So today I have showed the TOI login. Okay. So the next one. So I'm just going to show you the couple of shortcuts which you can access the system fast. In yesterday's class, I have told you. So if you wanted to open the terminal, just right click and open the terminal. Okay, so now what I'm going to do without the mouse, that if I wanted to access the system fast, you have to use the Alt F2. Alt F2. So now here you can see that one window has got open. That is the run application. So in this, that you have to type here Gnome-terminal, Gnome-terminal and enter. See, the terminal has got launched here. Gnome-terminal has got launched. So the terminal which has got launched, that is in the graphical desktop. Okay, so now here that if I wanted to access whatever the commands you want, you can run it and you can access it. Now I wanted to open one more terminal. So for that, it's not required that you have to use Alt F2 again. We have the one more shortcut, Control Shift N. Can you see that here? Control Shift N. If you're going to keep on use that N, no. So which you can open the multiple terminals, you can open it. In the graphical, there is no limit here. So which you can open the multiple terminals, unlimited, you can open it. If you wanted to close this, you have to use that Control D. See here, I'm just closing it off. Control D is to close it. Okay, so now I have one terminal. It's not required that all the time you have to go for like this individual terminal. So what you can do that, in one itself, you can open multiple terminal. See, now I have only one terminal itself. You can use the Control Shift T. Can you see the movement here? Control Shift T, in one itself, I have opened 5 terminals I have opened. So then how can I switch? See, normally when I have this like this terminal, I can use Alt Tab. In Windows also we use Alt Tab itself. The same way I can switch like this here. But in this case, that what happens that you have to use Control and page up and page down, that you have to use it. Control, see here, the page up and page down for the moment. So now here that I'm just going to run some commands here. So now you can see that Control, page up and page down. Okay, so this is how you can switch from one terminal to another terminal. Again, if you wanted to close it, that Control D, that it's remain the same. Okay, now if I wanted to minimize this terminal, Alt F9. Alt F9, see now that the terminal which is there, no? So Alt F9, you have to use it to minimize it. If you wanted to maximize it, Alt Tab. In Windows also, we have the same Alt Tab. If you select it and if you leave it, that window will appear. Okay, if you wanted to make it this full screen, now you are seeing that the very small letters that you can see. If I wanted to make it full screen, F11, one time the functional key, you have to press that F11, it will occupy the full screen. Again, if I wanted to go to the normal, again press F11, it comes to the normal. Okay, so now I made it full screen, and now that the font size, it has become small. Correct. Now, if I wanted to increase that, Control Shift plus that you have to use it. Control Shift plus. How many times plus you use it, that many times it get increased. This. Okay, whatever the commands I run, so that all that you can see with the very big letter. Okay, so now if I wanted to reduce it, Control minus. Control Shift plus is to increase, Control minus is to reduce it. You can make it so small, you can make it. See, I just made it very small. So if you wanted to increase it, Control Shift plus that you have to use. Okay, so the next one, I'm just going to run some couple of commands here. So I just have run ls command, cal command, date command. So I just go for cal 2023, enter. So now I have run couple of commands. I wanted to clear the screen. So for that, the command you have to use that clear, or else Control L is the shortcut for that. I just enter. Once I enter, after some time, I wanted to go up and check that what all the commands that I have executed. So normally what we do from the mouse, that we are going to scroll up itself. So instead of that, shift page up. Can you see that here, the moment, whatever I have executed, so I can go up and I can use that shift down. So I'm just coming down and I'm seeing it here. Okay, so now I wanted to close this terminal. If I wanted to close this terminal, we go for exit command. It gets closed. Okay, so now I wanted to close the terminal. I wanted to launch the new terminal. Instead of that closing it and opening the one more terminal, just you have to run the command reset. You no need to do double work. So in the present terminal itself, run the reset command and enter. So the old terminal, it has got closed. The new terminal, it has got launched. If I use a shift page up, no, nothing comes. Why? Because it's a new terminal. Okay, so the next one. So now here, got it? So T put board. So in the further, whatever the commands that you're going to run it, that all it shows with the board. Again, if I wanted to come back with this, I don't want to have it bold. So you have to run T put and reset that you have to run it. It comes to the normal. See, now here that if I run that, it comes to the normal. Okay, so now see further commands, it's all it shows with the normal letters. Now I wanted to copy something. See in the Windows, what is the shortcut you use it to copy? Control C and Control V, no copy paste. Here that if you wanted to copy anything, you have to use that Control Shift C's to copy, Control Shift V's to paste. Just you have to add shift in between. Same shortcut, in between you have to add shift. Control Shift C's to copy, Control Shift V's to paste. Okay, so now I have this terminal. And this terminal, if I wanted to move it, so might be left or right or up and down from the mouse, normally we do it. And from the shortcut, if I wanted to do that, shift, Alt F7, you have to hold it. Then you have to use the arrow keys, you have to use it. Alt F7 and arrow keys, you have to use it. Left and right, up and down, you can move this terminal. Okay, so now here that, so here that I have showed you that some important, a couple of shortcuts I have showed you, but still if you wanted to have some more shortcut after opening the terminal, you have an option called edit here. If you go to the edit from the last second option, keyboard shortcut. So most of the important ones, see the first one itself, they have given copy and paste, Control Shift V and Control Shift V. So most of the important shortcut, which is required for day-to-day that I have taught, but still some more are there. When you're practicing it, see this ones. Okay, so this is all some important shortcuts as of now, which I've taught to access the system fast. All the time, right click on that and open the terminal, close the terminal, that all it takes time. If you know some shortcuts that you can access the system fast. Okay, any question on this? Clear? Okay, and one more thing. So when you're running a command every day, so in yesterday's class and today's class, once you're back to home, so you have run one command, you feel that it's a correct command, but you did not get any output. So for that, what you have to do, see now for an example, I just run the date command. Already you know the function of the date command. So you feel that, okay, now it looks fine, so I have got the output. Sometimes once you run the date command, you may not get the output. So obviously you will get one question. So whether you will cross check the spelling. So whether I have run the correct command or not. So sometimes when you don't get any output, so what you have to do, so from your end, it's looking correct. But what happens that from the operating system wise, that if you wanted to find out whether you have run the correct command or not, you have to go for this. Echo space $0. Frequently, we use this command on the production server. So with the help of this command, the command which I have run correct or not, you can check. Okay, so for that, suppose for an example, if you go to the Google, what happens? You have to spend a lot of time. It gives the multiple pages of the description and multiple options of the command it shows. But in the operating system itself, you can check. See, now I have run the correct command I have run. I got the output. Now still I have the question. So now you can run the command echo space $0 question mark and enter. Can you see the value? It's a 0. So which means that if you get the value, it's a 0. The last command which I have run, it's a correct command. Now what I do, I just go for spelling mistake. In place of DAT, I have written DOT, I have written and enter. So what it says, command not found. Don't think that all the time you will get the output like command not found. Sometimes you may not get that output of command not found when you type the wrong command. So in that case, just you have to go for echo space $, question mark and enter. You have got some numerical number, 127, 128, 142, 147. Any numerical number, if you get it, which means that the last command which I have run, it's a wrong command. Okay, so if you get the value, it's a 0, which means that you have run the correct command you have run. It's a very simple understanding. If you go for the different flavor of the Linux and different number, you will get it. 127 in the Red Hat Linux, you will get it. 128, 142, 146, 147. You no need to worry about the number. So just if you get the numerical number, it's a wrong command. If you get the 0 is the value, which means it's a right command. That's all you have to know in this. Okay, so with the help of this, easily we will get to know that whether right or wrong command. Clear? Any questions with this in this first unit? So far, whatever we have seen, this is all with this, the first unit is done. Any question? Online guys, any questions do you have?
No, sir.
Okay, so fine then. Online guys, log in back quickly. So we will go for the next concept.